Hey guys, welcome back to the channel review anything and everything. And today we're taking a look at this Lego set right here, the Imperial Star Destroyer. This is for pre-order. I actually did pre-order this set. I was actually very excited about this set. Now I know a lot of people had expectations of it being, I guess, a different set. Those who are really deep into Lego, they know what's coming out before it comes out, and they think that certain sets are going to come out. I'm not really too deep into it to know all that. But what I will say is that when I saw that this was up for pre-order, I was actually excited about it because one, I do not have a Death Star. I'm actually new to getting into Star Wars Lego collecting. And in addition to that, a few things. One is, like I said, I don't have this set, so it's nice to be able to have it. It is a little bit smaller than some of the previous sets, but it may have more detail inside because I think the piece count might be more. I'm not sure. But I also plan on modifying the interior of this a little bit if I am able to. What I would like to try to get away with if I get a chance is actually do what I like to do in most of these ships that I've showed some of the ships that I've built recently um, for Lego Star Wars ships is I like to try to build up interiors with bunks and places for people to sleep and little things of that sort. So maybe I might be able to manage that in some way. So I'm looking forward to that if I can. It definitely has, it definitely utilizes all the space that is there. And I like that. You got the bridge area there. The previous set pretty much had the same design. So it's nothing new, though you have some small details that might be a little bit more new. Like I said, I wasn't very familiar with the older set because I didn't have it. But this is the bridge area here, and the little side panels on the side of the bridge are little kind of computer station areas where different characters can sit. And then you have, um, the kind of main area into the back where you have different things going on, little computer screens back there and whatnot. And yeah, I think it's going to be just a really great set for those who just never had a chance to get one of these because the older ones go for an expensive price, and this one's just a lot more updated with a lot of newer things attached to it in terms of some of the detailing and whatnot. So that part I think is really cool. Um, yeah, you can see a little bit more here on this side here, but I just like I said, I'm a really fan of the set. This is the one of those kind of sets where I do think putting out a little bit of criticism for it, I do think they could have built it a little bit bigger. I do think the Star Destroyer is one of those ships that definitely should be at least probably a good 5 inches longer because being that it all kind of, closes in the front area to kind of come into that cone shape, extending the length would overall give you a lot more space in the interior because you consider if the front was even or regardless the front the back whatever the whole ship is about 5 inches longer, that means that the back end has more at that spread would essentially be, if you kind of see where my fingers are here on the screen, would almost get like this wide if you had an extra 5 inches of length, because obviously the way that the side panels are expanding are going to get wider. At that point, you'll just have a lot more interior space. So, and I don't know if that's something that anyone who's like a master builder would be able to figure out how to customize and expand on one of these things. I'm glad that we're getting it, but at the same time, too, I definitely think this is one of those ships that Lego should have put the effort to make just a bigger ship. Would that have cost more money? Probably so. Even though with this design, I don't think it would have cost that much more money because all you're doing is really extending these, Technic pieces to have more structure be lengthened because it's a pretty hollow ship. So I don't think it would have cost them that much to make it that much bigger. You wouldn't have had to add that many more pieces. Granted, you would have had to have a little bit more panel pieces, but being that it's already pretty wide on this end and gets narrower on the front, I don't think it would have been that much more extra panel pieces in general. Even if it had to go up to, say, it's 160 right now, even if it had to go up to a 180 price tag to add an extra 5 extra inches of length, and maybe even just, it could have been hollowed out space. You don't have to add any extra stuff to it, extra interior detail. That would have been fine, or you could have and made it, a little bit more pricier. But my point is, I feel like this is that kind of set where you really, it's, as far as I'm concerned, the Millennium Falcon is the most iconic of the, hero ships. The the X-Wing is the most iconic fighter ship, starfighter ship. But this ship right here, of all the big dreadnought class ships, whatever you want to call it, cruiser ships, like huge ships, whatever the proper name is for it, the Star Destroyer is that ship. It is the number one ship when you think of Star Wars, the big ships of all their big ships. So it's like, if you're going by size, you think of a fighter ship, a starfighter ship, individual seater, you're thinking of the X-Wing. You're thinking of a hero ship. You're thinking of the Millennium Falcon when it comes to Star Wars. And yes, there's a few other ones. There's the Ghost, there's the Razor Crest now, a few other things. But you think of the Millennium Falcon. When you think of the big ships, you think of the Star Destroyer is the number one ship that you think of, surpassing all those other ones, the Venator, all those other things. None of them compare to this ship in terms of being iconic. And so for that reason, it's definitely one of those ships that, even on the play scale, I definitely think that they should have put a lot more into it, even if it was going to cost a little bit more. Now, the figures that come with it, you get the 25th anniversary figure, exclusive. From my understanding, he goes towards the video game. I've never played it before. I've seen some clips before, but as far as your main cast here that you have, I honestly would say that if you don't have a Vader, you get a Vader, which I don't have a Vader. You get a couple of other troops inside there that go nice with, like, just the set in general. Now, what's interesting is that you could kind of have this go with the Tantum 4 setup, Lego set that has Darth Vader and whatnot, and you get a few extra stormtroopers, I'm sorry, to go along with it. If I'm not mistaken, that's inside the set and can whatever. But if you wanted to, not that this ship, I don't know if it would hold it, whatever, but if you want to try to army build with some stormtroopers to put on there, I'm not really too sure where you would find that. But just thinking out loud in terms of, a way that a person could kind of, add to the set, in terms of, like, if you want to have another set that will complement this. Um, but the roster that comes with it, I'm fine with it. I'm no Lego expert, so I can't really tell you how many figures it should be coming with for this price range. I mean, if I compare it to the Ghost, which is my first big ship and, my first really true venture into the Star Wars, kind of setup, even though I did have one other set before that, the Armor Marauder. But going off that as my true first big ship, that came with 5 figures. So this one right here comes with 7. So in that regards, for the same price, it's hard for me to really be mad at it. It has a higher piece count as well, at 1,555. Granted, some of those pieces might be kind of small, because the overall size of the ship doesn't look like it's going to be that much bigger than the Ghost. But at the same time, too, it does have more interior space. It may not seem as technically advanced on the outside as far as how the Ghost ship was put together, but nonetheless, you do have a lot of interior space in general. So if I compare it to the Ghost, I can't really be mad at it. I can't be mad at the set in that regard. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if you guys are as well. Put in the comments down below if it's a set that you pre-ordered. Do you already have the older ones, or do you feel it's not worth buying? Do you want to army build these where you already have the older sets? Because there were 2 older sets before, and you want to build this one just so you can say you have 3 Star Destroyers. Or are you going to pass on this set? Do you just feel it's not worth the money? Let me know down below, you guys. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.